Here we are at Toyota's headquarters in Melbourne, and it's a very special day for a number of reasons really, but mainly because of what's sitting next to me. It's the new GR Corolla. And while it might look quite similar to the regular Corollas that you see driving around on the road, there are a few special elements that sets it apart. So let's take a look at what they are. Chasing cars. Honest reviews of your next car.
Brought to you by
Budget Direct.
Let's start at the front end, because here is a perfect demonstration of what Toyota calls functional beauty, which blends form and function so you get performance, but the parts also work and they look really good. A great example of this is this new bumper, because not only is it overly aggressive and super wide across the front of the cars, but you'll notice here and down here are actual vents that feed air into the engine to make more power. And along the same lines, it gets a new bonnet with a power bulge, but you'll notice here there are a couple of vents which don't help bring air in, but instead they vent out the hot air, which again helps the engine make more power. And while we're here, it's worth talking about the engine that sits beneath the bonnet of this GR Corolla, because it's the same 1.6 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged unit as what you'll find in a GR Yaris, but here it makes 220 kilowatts and 370 newton meters of torque. This is obviously sent to all four wheels via a 6-speed manual transmission, but I mean, you already know that. Now, while the GR Corolla shares probably a majority of its panels with the regular Corolla, the guards here, along with the bumper and the bonnet, are bespoke to this car, and that's kind of obvious because these ones have massive vents here, and just like that front bumper and the bonnet, these are functional, so they bring out the dirty air from the wheel to help it be more aerodynamic. And along the same lines, it gets wider wheels, and fun fact here, these are actually made by NK, which is a bonus. So as you can probably tell, the doors and the roof on the GR Corolla are actually shared with the regular Corolla. And unlike that GR Yaris, which gets a bespoke carbon roof, this one is just made out of aluminium. But I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. You'll obviously notice down here, it gets a fresh set of side skirts with GR4 lettering on the side. But I'd say the biggest highlight of the side profile here are the wide rear guards, which unlike the GR Yaris, which is built into the bodyworks, these ones get kind of inserts that remind me of those days where brands like Liberty Walk kind of put big over fenders on Lamborghinis and etc. I mean, not as cool as bespoke actual bodywork, but hey, it gives it a wide stance, and I mean, that's what it's meant to do. Now, if you follow the large rear guards to the back of the car, they lead into the really wide bumper here. But before we dive into that, it's worth noting that these sharp edges right here are actually designed like that to be more aerodynamically efficient. But anyway, at the back of the car, there's no denying the huge stance that it's got. I mean, just look at the sheer size of this bumper. And in this little diffuser down here, you'll notice that the GR Corolla not only has two tailpipes, it turns out that this center tailpipe right here has a little valve in it that at low speed increases back pressure for torque, but when you get up through the rev range, it opens up, which increases airflow and adds to the power figure. So on the inside of the GR Corolla, things have been kept very simple, and that's for good reason, because apparently in the design process, the engineers didn't want any bright colours or any flashy lights or anything to take away from the driving experience, because it is really such a pure driver's car. That aside, the seats, they're nicely bolstered. I mean, they're more impressive than what you get in a standard Corolla, and I feel like they'd hold you really well when you're blasting through a track. And also, this 6-speed manual transmission is the same one that's shared with the GR Yaris, so it's fantastically notchy, and I mean, it's going to be a joy to use. So, there we have it. That's what differentiates this GR Corolla from those regular Corollas you see driving around on the streets, and what will make it hopefully a fantastic driving car when we eventually get the chance. But anyway, let me know what you think of this GR Corolla in the comments down below, and while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching Chasing Cars.